We don't know if we could do that.
All right, well, then go fuck off, bro. I'm about to get $800 a week for unemployment.
Here comes the money. Here we go. Episode 6. We're just gonna go right into this son of a bitch. Reset that. And then let's just start it off with a Mount Rushmore. Women wrestlers.
All right, cool.
Your Mount Rushmore of women wrestlers.
Okay. Let's do it. I got a controversial. I'll go first if you don't mind.
All right, go.
I think Charlotte Flair is on there no matter what.
Love that.
I think Medusa is on there no matter what.
Okay.
I think China is on there no matter what.
Yep.
And then my number 4, no one's going to agree with me. No one has this. But just like I am starting to put the Briscoes early now, putting my ballots in, I am putting my ballot in for timeless Toni Storm.
Oh my
I love timeless Toni Storm. I think she is fantastic. I can't wait for her to get signed by WWE and take her career to another level. She is everything I want in a wrestler. She is fully committed to the gimmick. And not only that, it feels it's coming from an authentic place, even though I know she's Australian. And my favorite thing is that she wrestles like her gimmick. So many wrestlers get a gimmick and then they wrestle like a luchador. She wrestles like someone from that era. And she has great matches, great moments. And I can't wait for her to one day have a WrestleMania moment.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Put her on the Mount Rushmore now.
That's a bold. That's very bold of you because, what is she, 32, 33, maybe? Like, I do love her gimmick now, though. The timeless gimmick is great. She is very committed. And she's very good in the ring, too. So, maybe a preemptive take, but okay.
Hey, just
all right.
Get the chisel out. Start carving it in now.
Okay. I'm going to go with my women wrestlers, Mount Rushmore. Asuka. She's just brilliant. She's a great wrestler. It's very technical. Like, just everything about her is great. Then I'm going to go with Lita. Which I considered the first flying female.
Yeah. I thought of Lita, but I took Lita off.
Yeah. I mean, she did some stuff back then which other women weren't doing.
The thong coming out of her pants is an iconic look, too. It's
very of that time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it.
And then, what I feel like should be on everyone's Mount Rushmore for women is China.
You keep.
All right, you both have her on there. I don't.
Okay, fine. Not everyone.
You know what?
Not everyone would have this.
You want to hear my argument? Why?
Mm-hmm. Why?
Because China's a better manager than she is a wrestler.
I had the same thoughts, but then
China's how China got over was by being
who she
wasn't by being a wrestler.
Like. It's how she looks.
It was how she looked, her presence, her charisma, her natural
First
charisma.
Female intercontinental champion.
That she would occasionally
probably the only female intercontinental champion of all time.
That's fair.
And that's
that's fair.
And
but those matches that was Jericho carrying her. That was Jeff Jarrett carrying her. She's not a good wrestler. She was an iconic wrestler.
Right. But isn't part of being a good wrestler sometimes being a good athletic displays but having great aura. And she had great. She had some of the best aura out of all the females. Her aura was so.
So did Sensational Sherry, but she wouldn't be on the Mount Rushmore of wrestlers.
She never wrestled Ricky Steamboat for the IC belt.
That's true.
But I agree with you. All your points are valid, and I've said this before. But then recently I was talking to some other friends, and I got convinced otherwise because there was something about her that the fact that she did all that male versus female stuff. She was the first female wrestler that let you know that it's not weird to see a female kick ass in the ring. Like, if Medusa couldn't do that to Chris Jericho, right? Was it a great match? No, not at all. But was it weird to see her do? Like, how many times have you heard wrestlers say rumors of wrestlers not wanting to wrestle females because it's going to bury them?
Right, but China was a different story though, because she was built like a brick shit house, and you could if you looked at China, you would believably think like she could beat the fuck out of half of the wrestlers on the roster.
Yeah.
Yes. So
It's like a trailblazer thing rather than like actually being good.
Yes,
I'll say
that's
that.
fair.
Yeah.
That's very fair.
I was gonna say something to make him flip his switch, but
Go ahead. Do it.
I'm gonna go on my number one now. This isn't gonna flip.
I'm sorry.
This
I'm
one,
sorry.
This one's not gonna. I know you don't care about this one, but it's with China. But my number
Sable,
one
isn't
would
it?
be yeah. Rhea Ripley.
Whoa.
Oh, that's like my timeless pick.
Yes, that is who I feel like
I'm a big fan
deserves
of her.
to
She's
be
going to be
on.
there.
Yeah, she will be.
Yeah.
We'll see. She's young. I love Rhea, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Powerhouse. You
Yeah,
know?
she's great.
Sometimes they come and go. Who knows?
I mean, she's been around for a while.
She's very good.
Yeah. So I have my number one is Trish Stratus.
Oh, I'm leaving. I'm leaving because of that pick.
All right, Calvin's out. So
I'm back.
Wow.
Trish walking out on my Trish Stratus Mount Rushmore pick.
Talk about not a wrestler.
Yeah, Trish is an all-timer for me. She was the first woman's wrestler who wasn't all, eye candy in at least my experience, that she actually could bring it in the ring too. And she, for a while there in the early 2000s, she was like the only girl who could like actually wrestle there, which said a lot, she cared. So yeah, Trish is definitely on my Mount Rushmore. AJ Lee is another one who I think the impact that AJ had in her short time, like she's, to this day, like people still chant for AJ Lee.
Yeah, I listen, she's from Union City, New Jersey.
Hell yeah.
I'm a big fan of that. When I watched her, I did not like her, but the way she was loved, and to this day, I don't understand how it had such a long...
I know what you mean, though. She has a connection with people that you can't explain if you don't get it. Like how, like the same.
I
way,
like her.
The same way Bryan Danielson does. Like, certain people are like, I don't get what, like, this is not everybody. Bryan Danielson's a bad example because he's a very popular wrestler, but you know what I mean.
But what would you say about AJ Lee that makes that connection work? Like, is it because she is like, she looks
her
like
charisma, her character work, like when she was the like the evil little skipping brat, like she was just great.
So you think it's the skipping?
Yes, it was entirely the skipping.
No, I mean that in a good way. Like that skip is so iconic, and like she was so in the moment and in the character when she would come to the ring that like it drew me in.
Yes.
And also she didn't look like a wrestler. So and the fact that she had this
she wasn't your traditional like beauty either for the rest. She's very, very beautiful, don't get me wrong. But so AJ Lee, and also I'll throw out a prediction that AJ Lee will be back this year. She'll make her return in 2025.
Yeah.
We'll see.
CM Punk, that's why.
Yep. And then my other two, you guys had already said these, but Charlotte, obviously, I think Charlotte is probably pound for pound my favorite female wrestler that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I just think when the bright lights or when it's the big show, like nobody brings it like she does.
Yeah.
And then Asuka too, because Asuka, for as long as she's been in America, has probably been the most consistent wrestler.
So good.
From, and I guess she's probably starting to wind down now a little bit. But
age.
the run that she had from, was it when she came into NXT in like 2015, 2016, all the way up until
now.
Now it's just been like she's always entertaining, always
she's
at
so
the top
good.
of her
Her
game.
matches with Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
She's one of the few
good.
wrestlers, male or female, that did not need to speak English to get over in America.
Yeah.
And it's always worked, and it's never held her back.
And her stuff looks so real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I was kind of fucking around with the Tony Storm thing, Asuka was really the pick. Yeah.
And then
she's good.
what's the opposite of a Mount Rushmore? Mount Flushmore?
Sure.
Sure, yeah. Flushmore?
Becky Lynch belongs on there. Not a Becky. This is not a Becky Lynch podcast.
Yeah, I'm not a big
Right.
fan. I mean, the whole bloody face man moment was like cool, and I got that was cool, but I didn't follow that wave. Like I was all right, that was cool, and then like everything else afterwards.
That was actually a slip up.
Yeah,
It wasn't supposed to happen.
That was them telling what's
Nia.
Nia.
Yeah.
telling Nia, go out there and make a statement.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And Becky was behind Nia, like just hitting her, and like she turned around, like, who the fuck is hitting me? And went right into Becky's face.
And then that was it.
And that was the iconic shot with her going up into the crowd and then looking at the camera, and then she's just bleeding.
I just don't see it.
I still hold the grudge, Becky Lynch, because I had to stay at WrestleMania until 1:00 in the morning to watch you win by roll up. So thanks for that.
Yeah,
That's great.
I left early.
It was awesome.
All right, that was pretty good. We're gonna do this. Who did the move better?
All right, let's go.
So I did a little thing where I went to ChatGPT and I asked that question, who did the move better? And I put in typical moves that a lot of wrestlers do use. So we're going to go with move 1, the spear.
Jey Uso.
So
obviously.
wait. I'm going to name what ChatGPT says. Don't leave. I'm going to name what ChatGPT says. And you could say yes. You can agree with some of those names, or you can bring in the name that you feel like deserves to be on that list.
Okay.
So with the spear, it says Goldberg, Roman Reigns, Edge, and Braun Breaker.
Goldberg's the only one.
Edge's spear is not that good, though. It's okay.
No,
For a long time, everybody online called Edge's spear the running hug.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you,
I just want to hug you.
Honestly, I feel like everyone's spear on there sucks except for Goldberg.
Roman's isn't bad.
Yeah, but Goldberg
killed you.
Yeah,
Goldberg was so natural
Goldberg's
because he's a
wasn't spear,
football
It was a
player.
tackle. It was a tackle.
He was a football player.
The word spear came from Goldberg.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. To me, Goldberg, that's how you do it. You know?
There's one person that's not on that list that it didn't mention.
You're going to say Rhino? Don't say Rhino.
Because they call it gore.
Yeah, but that's...
But come on.
the gore.
You really didn't like this?
I love Rhino.
Do you?
Big Rhino guy.
Really? I thought Rhino was horseshit. I thought that was the end of ECW.
Rhino's one of the few guys who could pull off a velvet singlet.
It's because of TNA. Because Rhino had a...
I liked Rhino
He
a
did
lot.
go to TNA, yeah.
At the end of ECW, I liked Rhino in his first WWF run. I always thought Rhino was just like cool.
Wow.
I don't know. I know that's probably not.
So
a
wait,
popular
would you
thing,
take
but-
someone out of that list and put Rhino in it?
What list?
I'd be okay with that.
for
I
the
think Rhino...
spear.
I would say Rhino had a better spear than Roman or Edge, to be honest. To be
Yeah.
honest.
Honestly, Braun Breaker is on the way to having the best spear.
He
ever.
is.
He's already
Yeah.
had some just.
But to him, it's almost... It's not... The thing is with a spear, I feel like you got to pull on the legs like Goldberg used to. These guys are just like launching their neck and head at people and calling it a spear.
Yeah.
You know? But, you know, whatever. At least Braun Breaker is...
Actually, you know
cool.
who's the worst spear right now is now what's his name now? Ricky Starks, Ricky Saints.
Oh, I didn't even know he
his
did it.
spear is really bad. Sorry, Ricky, I like you. You're a really good wrestler, but your spear is not very good.
Did Gilbert do the spear?
I don't think Gilbert ever did a move.
I think he used to knock himself out doing that.
I was a big Gilbert guy.
Yeah, how can you not? You know?
Dwayne Gill.
I just don't feel like anyone should be doing the spear if you're not like a road warrior.
If you weren't a football player, you shouldn't be.
Yeah,
doing the spear.
yeah. I thought it was dumb. I don't know why Edge even did that move. Like, it doesn't make sense to me if you're like...
Because Edge could never, he never had a great finisher. Like, that was the best he could come up with. Because he used to have the Edgecutioner, which was like and that was a
DDT
weird
thing?
setup. Yeah, like, it just didn't work.
Because he would sit there in a corner and just like keep moving his hair
The spear-
back,
the spear
licking
was-
his lips.
That
just
was
to
good
do.
for Edge, though. I mean, it didn't look great, but it was fine.
Yeah.
He was slinky. The Chokeslam. Now, ChatGPT gave me The Undertaker, The Big Show, Kane,
And Akira Tao.
and Akira Tao.
Akira Tao has one of the worst chokeslams you've ever seen. You did not
Big Show,
research that.
the
You didn't
giant-
take it at all.
No, that's what ChatGPT
The Giants
gave.
chokeslam in WCW when he would drop to his knees was awesome. Like, that looked because he was coming down like full force.
Yeah.
But then he stopped doing it because he was damaging his knees. And I think it was Hogan told him, like, stop landing on your knees, brother. Like,
Look at me, brother.
Yeah. So the Giants chokeslam in WCW is probably the best one ever.
I think Kane.
I think so.
I go with Kane.
Do you guys remember 911?
Hell
Used
yeah.
to chokeslam
Yeah,
the
yeah,
shit
yeah.
out of people in
Yes.
ECW. That was a good chokeslam.
I think if you're going to do a chokeslam, you have to be over 6'8". Somebody I saw recently, I want to say it was Joe Hendry, did a fucking choke slam, and
To
I was like,
who?
I don't know. I saw him do it, and I was like, you can't, dude. It reminded me of when the Hurricane did.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
choke
but
slam.
that was funny.
Oh my God, yes.
This wasn't meant to
Yeah.
be. And Joe Hendry, I'm sorry if it wasn't
Stand
Joe
back.
Hendry, it was somebody else that should not have done a choke slam.
Nick Gage does a choke and breaker where he picks up in a choke slam and he puts you on the back breaker.
That's
Oh,
it
really?
looks fucking awesome. It's one of his like big signature moves. It looks fucking great. And I can honestly say Akira Tao looks like he has the skinniest little arms. He has the worst body a professional wrestler I've ever seen. He looks like a man off a fishing boat. And he does this skinny arm like choke slam. And looks so weak and feeble. I hate it. I hate him.
It was kind of like a push to the neck.
Not even you could just see all the effort that his opponent would do to try to make it look good. He was just not like an athletic man, and I have no idea why he was. Akira Tao, if you don't know, was featured amongst all these great Japanese wrestlers, and like let's say there was like a group of 5, he was like number 6, and he was featured in all these matches, and he clearly could not keep up. But for some reason, I mean, maybe there's something about Japanese culture about the way this guy looked that worked for somebody. But if you want some homework, watch Akira Tao and laugh all night.
Didn't Abyss do the choke slam as well?
Yeah, probably.
TNA guy?
I think he did.
TNA guy.
Abyss had a good moveset though.
So who would you give the choke slam to?
Who did you say? Big Show?
Yeah.
You said WCW Big Show though, right?
But sometimes it depends the choke slam is like who's selling it, and like I do remember a ton of good like Undertaker choke slams.
Tonight's the Undertaker.
I say Kane. I go with Kane.
All right,
That's all fine.
Yeah,
not splitting
they're
hairs.
great. The other one is the Clothesline.
Lariat.
So basically, ChatGPT picked
Clearly,
Hulk
hallucinating.
Hogan.
That's not true. They're just saying that. 'cause
Mick Foley,
Oh, this is bad.
JBL,
This is why you can't
and
trust
Ultimate Warrior.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, these are-
Because Stan Hansen needs to be at the
Yeah.
top of this list right
yeah,
now.
exactly.
Stan Hansen. JBL's Lariat is pretty great though.
Yeah.
That was ruthless.
Yeah.
His.
Oh, it was very Stan Hansen. That's where he got it from.
Yeah.
He totally
Yeah.
got it from Stan. JBL would bounce off the rope. Stan Hansen would just stand there and look at you and be like, "You're gonna die now." And my favorite Stan Hansen clothesline, if everyone wanted to look it up, it's against Kenta Kobashi. He sits Kenta Kobashi in the top rope, and you're thinking, "What the fuck is a 300-pound man gonna do to a 250-pound man off the top rope?" And then he climbs to the ring apron. And he just fucking lariats him like a fucking bulldog, and he hits him so hard. It's one of my favorite lariats of all time. And speaking of the guy he lariated, Kenta Kobashi, he's not on this list. He should be on the list. Samoa Joe, Kenta Kobashi, Ring of Honor.
Joe,
You should watch. He clotheslines the shit out of him. Kenta Kobashi had the best grab you by the head, charge up, clothesline.
Kenta Kobashi is one of my favorite builds of a wrestler of all time. He's not.
Yeah.
He is a thick, massive man who has no defining muscle, but he's just all meat, all prime Japanese beef.
Yeah, he looks like to me a Japanese Bruno Sammartino.
Yes. Yeah. His arms are like as thick as tree trunks. But
Jeez. Who else? Did I write someone else down for the lariat? No, that's it. I got Kobashi, Hansen, and JBL.
Yeah. I would go with JBL. APA JBL. I would go with him. All right. Well, there are people that call these matches. So we're going to go with our top 5 commentators. Top 5 commentators.
All right.
Yeah. I'll start this one off.
Yeah, do it.
Let's do it.
We're just talking about him, but
Start off with 5 and then we go up.
Number 5 for me is JBL.
Really?
I love heel color commentators.
I hated his voice.
I don't though, because JBL just makes me laugh. I'm sorry. I know the guy can be a real dick in real life.
Yeah.
But it always just made me fucking
Smart
laugh.
man, too, with stocks.
He's a businessman. He wears a cowboy hat. He rides a limo around, But I love JBL. I thought JBL and Cole was a good team. I like that a lot. Number 4, Mike Tenay. from TNA
Wow.
and WCW. Maybe the most knowledgeable wrestling announcer of all time when it comes to luchadors and other countries. Mike Tenay was great. I won't hear any Mike Tenay slander. Okay?
No, I was going to say, I don't hate Mike Tenay, but I don't love Mike Tenay either.
I like Mike Tenay. Number 3 is Jerry the King Lawler. I love heel commentary. Jerry, in the height of the Attitude Era, when it was you had Jim Ross as the voice of reason, the voice of the fans, and the King as the slimy corporate kiss ass who everything he did on commentary was how the McMahons were right about everything. It was I loved it. It was just the banter was great. Number 2 is Joey Styles. Always loved Joey Styles. Thought he should have been the guy to succeed Jim Ross in the WWE, but didn't really work out that way. They didn't see him that way.
I felt like
But yeah, I loved
his
Joey
commentating
Styles.
was more of like a panicking style.
But
So no, it was great. It was great.
yeah, it was different. It was his own thing, and it worked. And he had a really great voice as well. And then obviously number 1 is Jim Ross. Really, there's not much to say. Jim Ross is the best to ever do it. His voice is synonymous with wrestling. When you think of the WWF between 1996 and 2006, it's his voice in your head.
I think for my top 5, so basically I was up in the air between a couple of guys where I want to start off with 5, and it was either Jesse the Body Ventura or the Macho Man.
Ooh, weird.
Or another wrestler is Booker T. If you watch him now on NXT, oh yeah, sucky now. But I went with Pat McAfee.
Okay.
I just like he's he just brings you in. He's like there as a fan. He does the gestures.
I like Pat, but I can see why people don't like him.
I can see that too.
I can see why he is a turnoff to some people.
He's very like jock culture.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with jock culture, but a lot of people that watch wrestling are not.
A lot of the hardcore wrestling fans, let's just be honest here, they were bullied by jocks. They don't like to be reminded of it.
But I think him and Michael Cole have such a good. But
Cole obviously enjoys working with him.
Cole and Pat are like buddy commentary. That's what it feels like.
I'm a Michael Cole fan. Like Cole for the last 10 years has been really good, especially since Vince left. He got.
I was gonna say I'm a Triple H Michael Cole fan.
Yeah, but I think Michael Cole gets a lot of shit throughout his career for things that were not really his fault.
I agree.
I think he's a really good commentator, and he's had good calls.
Dude, once they let took the chains off of him, and he can just be himself, it improved so much,
Yeah.
And he wasn't bad. It just felt very this is corporate produced.
Let's be
he was
real.
probably getting yelled at the whole time.
When Michael Cole first came on the scene too, in 97, 98, he was a skinny little dork with frosted blonde tips in his hair. And it was just who is this? Who is this?
They back then they went back and forth between Coach and Michael Cole on who's gonna get made fun of. Number 4 for me would be Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
I did
Paul
love
Heyman commentary.
Yeah.
It was just great. He played the good guy. He played the bad guy, especially in ECW. Yeah. He's just passionate about it. Number 3, Jerry Lawler. Jerry the King Lawler. He's just so many things that he always said that was so great, especially when there's a female in the ring. How many times you can hear puppies being yelled. Number 2 would be Vince McMahon. I liked Vince McMahon in the early 90s because of the characters.
What a maneuver!
Yeah, because of the characters that he were with.
Yeah.
Jesse Ventura, Macho Man. It was just great chemistry.
Yeah.
And, he's calling all these shots, and you can see he's trying to be professional, but these guys are just make him flip out. And then number 1, Jim Ross.
Yeah, of course.
Jim Ross. He's the voice of wrestling, I feel like.
Yeah.
I was also going to put in Tony Schiavone, but then I was like, I don't know anymore.
No.
I don't know.
Not hear this argument. I will not hear it.
No, I like
Schiavone
at a 5 maybe.
sucked for 40 years.
He really has, in my
He
opinion.
has
It was
been
great. He
terrible.
was good in WCW.
I thought he was terrible in WCW.
This is the greatest night in the history of our sport.
yeah.
He says it in AEW to this day.
Yeah.
He's awful.
Didn't he once say, how much do those stairs weigh? It must be a ton. You're like, yeah.
so embarrassing. Tony Schiavone, listen, I'm not going to go on a big anti-AEW rant here, but how you want to grow your show and you put Tony Schiavone on commentary, on camera. Tony Schiavone? Like, do you realize what the average person who doesn't watch wrestling is flipping through the channels and sees Tony Schiavone standing there with his fucking Alf haircut and his fucking stupid earring and his red jacket? Get this old man off my screen. He's awful. He always has been.
Fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
No, it's all good.
No, what grinds your gears? Here we know two things: China on the women's Mount Rushmore and Tony Schiavone.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Shame on all you guys for not mentioning Bobby Heenan.
Oh, yeah. Shame on me.
Bobby
shame.
Heenan,
The
brand.
jeez.
Because we're talking Bobby Heenan, I'm talking Gorilla Monsoon.
Yes.
And if I'm talking Gorilla
Yes.
Monsoon, I'm talking Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yes.
Those three, that combination, Gorilla Monsoon with Bobby, Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse Ventura, raised me. That to this day, if I need to fall asleep, I'll put on something with them on it. I will fall asleep to Gorilla Monsoon's soothing voice and Jesse Ventura cutting in with his or Bobby Heenan's, like I feel like Bobby Heenan was stolen by pro wrestling from Hollywood. Bobby Heenan could have had a career in Saturday Night Live. He was so fucking funny.
Bobby Heenan could have been
Yeah.
the sidekick for Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
Could have
Yeah.
had a whole,
he
absolutely.
was
He's
so
quick.
fast.
Yeah.
And if you ever watched him on
legitimately funny.
Yeah.
Legitimately a funny guy.
Funniest person professional wrestling ever. The Rock had people writing for him. Bobby Heenan was out there just like riffing all the time.
Yeah.
So Bobby, Gorilla, Jesse, and then
wait. That's
three.
oh, that's your three. Oh, wow.
Three. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Five.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but
Okay.
move,
Whoa.
I'm trying to move here for you guys. And then I'm gonna throw in Joey Styles. Just because I'm a big ECW guy. Joey Styles meant so much to me in my teenage years. The Oh My God soundtrack to seeing crazy stuff. I mean, you gotta realize this is a time when, there's the internet's coming up and everyone's watching crazy things and seeing New Jack dive off something and hearing Joey Styles screech, oh my God, that whole thing. It's just like a soundtrack to my youth. I'm now, my number one is going to be Jim Ross. But instead of talking about Jim Ross, because we already talked about him, I'm going to throw out my honorable mention and just skip my number one and say Corey Graves. I'm a big fan of Corey Graves. And
I like Corey Graves too.
And I know sometimes he gets in trouble because he has boo-boo face at times or whatever's going on backstage. Maybe it's a work, maybe it isn't. I don't know. Which it sucks because I feel like he is one of the best heel commentator for this era of wrestling. He may have not been the best for Attitude Era. He may have not, but like right now. And the thing that I love about Corey Graves is it seems like he's on a mission to reward the wrestling fan for being a wrestling fan. Meaning, if you see a move and oh my God, the Great Muta did that, and you say it to yourself, Corey Graves may say it. He may say shades of Great Muta for you. He may say shades of Great American Bash in '88 with that spot. He may let you know, hey, because like for so many years. I always told people for so many years when Vince McMahon was in charge, no other creative universe punished their fans for knowing so much about the universe. Like if you're a Marvel fan and you knew so-and-so, blah, 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 Marvel movies had Easter eggs everywhere to let you know. We know that you know, and it's cool that you know. Yeah. Wrestling was like, that guy was dressed up like a clown 2 weeks ago, but now he's Undertaker's sister. I don't know.
You remember that shit?
Yeah.
Well, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Or even like Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3 when they're like, he's undefeated. It was like, dude, he just lost 2 years ago. We saw it. We saw it.
Yeah.
So Corey Graves to me kind of represents this new era where you are being rewarded for knowing a lot about wrestling. So hopefully he has the career he deserves. So there you go.
Agreed. I think he would
Was
make
there
a great
ever
manager.
A female commentator?
They tried Renee Young a few years ago. Did not work out very well.
Yeah.
Who would make a good? That's a good Question for a future episode. Who would make
Sonny
a good...
I feel like Sonny.
Sonny definitely was on commentary for
Yeah.
some matches. Definitely.
I feel like she probably could have been if they.
Oh, they should put Oscar.
they should. That would be fucking great.
That would. Yeah.
You have to translate the whole
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
No.
That it would, I would pay for it without the translation.
Japanese commentary is fantastic. I have no idea what's going on, but you watch like a great Japanese match.
Go ahead.
Japanese commentary gets you in.
Yeah, it's like watching a soccer match.
Yeah.
You know,
it really
you
is.
just if you don't understand it, but you hear the
passion.
the passion of it. Yeah,
It's great.
yeah, nice.
All right.
Got it in the bag.